Welcome to everyone who chose Pile 1. If you're here, you're in the right place. Today, I brought a really fun topic. I do tarot for my friends all the time, and honestly, this is one of the most requested themes ever. So I figured, why not bring it here for you guys? So, today's topic is what people in the dating pool think of you and your image. It's a bit different from how people see you in general. This is specifically about what your potential dates are thinking. And it's not just about one person. If you're a woman and you're into guys, it's about how men see you. If you're bi, it's about both. The point is, how do you look to those who could actually date you? Just apply it to your own situation as you listen. Alright, let's start with the first line. The first line is your first impression versus real you. I pulled 5 cards. The two on the left are the first impression they have of you, and the other 3 cards are who you actually are. Because let's be real, the look on the outside and the personality on the inside are very different. So let's compare. Looking at the image they get from you, you're definitely not an easy to approach person. Looking at the Eight of Cups and the Moon together, to put it simply, you've got this mysterious vibe. Usually, this shows up when someone looks like their mind is somewhere else. Like, let's say you at a party. You're there, sure, but it doesn't feel like you're fully enjoying it or you're in it. Even when you're with people, you give off this feeling like you're off in your own world. People especially think you're hard to read, like they cannot tell what's going on inside. They think you're either not interested or they're worried it will just get awkward if they try to talk to you. So, from their perspective, you don't really give them any certainty. For example, you go on a date, they're definitely into you, but they cannot read your emotions. So they stuck wondering, should I ask her out again? Or is it even okay to approach her? So you've got this great vibe and they like you, but you're just a tough nut to crack. Now, let's see who you really are. In reality, you are the type to dive right in if you're into, but you bail the second it cools off. You jump in fast when you're interested, but the power to keep that going, it's a little weak. You seem to love the thrill, the fun, the spark, and you've got that impulsive streak. When you like someone, the tension is high, you're super bold, but after a bit, you lose interest very fast. You're not exactly the focus on one person for a long time type. So when the interest is gone, you just drop out, and your emotional expression can be all over the place. To someone watching, they're like, wait, is she actually into me? She seemed so excited earlier. Why is she like this now? So it can be very confusing for them. And this pathless card is the real kicker here. This person in this card is not the type to decide where they are going or who they are going with. You just go wherever you feel like in the moment. Literally, you're someone who goes even when there's no path. Because of that, there is no real direction or consistency, which makes you feel even more unpredictable to others. Guys, it's so funny because when I talk to my friends about dating, I hear this all the time. Like, guys these days talk so much, but they never actually do anything. Like, all they do is just talk, 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 and never take actions. So they have zero initiative. But with you, it's the opposite. You have this initiative, you have the action, but you don't have a certain direction. So you're great at expressing interest, you know how to set the mood, and you're good at just, suddenly diving in. And you are low-key great at flirting and make their hearts race. But there is a condition. Only when you're having fun and only when you like them. But that cools off so fast. So the other person can totally get the wrong idea. So at first, you're coming on strong, expressing yourself and, taking action. But then you just go cold. So they're left thinking, is she playing with me? What's her deal? Right? You look like a free spirit who doesn't get stuck in boxes and just lives by your own vibe. In the dating pool, that's a huge charm at first, but later on, it can lead to things like avoiding responsibility, being vague, or just being unpredictable. So, if you are not just trying to have fun, but actually want to build a real relationship, you might want to think about this part. And as I'm reading this card, there's this energy I'm feeling. For those of you who picked pile one, I feel like the gap between the you show the world and the real you is massive. You are a free spirit, yes, but I feel like your inner self is a way, way deeper than what people see. But you don't want to show that inner side to just anyone, right? So you walk around with this other persona, this free spirit one. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you're wearing a fake mask. People are layered, right? We have so many sides. But it feels like you have decided out of all my sides, I'm gonna show the world the free spirit me. But when you're dating, it's okay to show a side that's a little less unpredictable. Now, let's dig deeper into what they really think about you in the second line. Honestly, the core of this line is it looks like there's emotion there, but it has no direction. That's what they are thinking. It connects back to the first line. At first, their impression of you is actually really good. You seem deep, warm, and like you be easy to talk to. But then they feel the lack of consistency. They cannot tell if you're joking or being serious, so they get getting confused. In the end, they think it's gonna be hard to go deep with this person. She's fun and easy to be around, but as a partner, maybe, I don't know. What if I get hurt if I get too close? So they end up thinking they should keep their distance. Like I said, you do have emotions. The Queen of Cups is a warm person, but your actions are not consistent. And compared to that initial tension, your staying power is low. It starts great, but then it loses steam. You make them expect things, and then it ends vaguely. You're definitely a fun person to be around, but fun and friendliness needs to lead a relationship. And it feels like it just stops there. So for pile one, I feel like you might date a lot. You might go to parties often or meet tons of people, but I bet a lot of you are not moving to the next stage. Actually, I think it's more likely that a lot of you don't move forward because you don't want to. You know how important certainty is when you're building a relationship? But these people are not getting this certainty from you. And the whole time I've been reading for pile one, I've had this feeling. I don't think many of you are watching this because you want to fix yourselves to date better. I think you're just purely curious about what others think. So, for your more successful dating life, let's look at the final advice. The energy I've been feeling throughout this reading is like I mentioned in the first line, even if you look like a free spirit, your inner world is truly deep. You have a lot of thoughts, but you don't really show that. Instead, you keep your heart locked tight, and the second someone tries to cross that line, I feel this energy that you block them. And you do it in your own way with your own expression, like using those free and impulsive actions or, joking around or saying like, oh, you can only come this far, don't cross it, like joke. You don't need to change who you are. But since this energy is reaching the other person and making it hard for them to get close, here's an idea. You are a person with rich emotions. You just use them lightly. But the depth itself is there. You don't have to accept every single emotions from the other person or give them everything back. But try mixing in a bit of that Queen of Cups receptivity. Start by just listening. Like, oh yeah, that's how you feel. I didn't realize, I see why you're saying that. I understand you. I'm listening. I'm here. Just starting with the listening can change everything. Keep your control. Don't give everything away, but give them the carrot of listening. And look, being independent is great. It's very cool. But sometimes you need to receive help or even ask for it, especially in relationship. So here's my friend's story. A friend of mine told me this recently. She's married and she said that she occasionally asks her husband, honey, this is too heavy. Can you carry it? Or, honey, I need this. Can you do it for me? This girl is super independent and actually really strong. But she said these little requests for help make the other person feel needed. And it's an effort to maintain the relationship. Thinking about that conversation, I want to say, even if you don't strictly need it, try leaning on them a little. Don't try to lead everything. That small gesture can make the other person feel special. Lastly, you're good at cutting people off when you're not interested or bored, right? Instead of doing that aggressively, use it as a guideline for the other person. What I mean by that is don't just cut them off. Tell them what you don't like. If you need more time, tell them that. It's okay to be honest about your feelings sometimes. And don't try to half-heartedly match their vibe. It's more obvious when you do that. Just be simple and straightforward. Just say, I'm not really into this kind of stuff. That's way more attractive. You've got this deep emotion, but you're also very sharp. You're independent and you value your boundaries. But the you on the outside is just free, bright, high energy. Maybe someone who doesn't seem to have much attachment? If it's good, it's good. If not, whatever. That's why your dating difficulty is a bit high. But that's your best plot twist. To wrap it up, don't build such a wall against people. Don't try to mask it by only showing your high energy free spirit side. Mix it up. Even if they are not the one right away, don't just snap and cut them off. Give it some time, give them a chance, and give the other person a little time to understand you. If someone really likes you and wants to know you, they'll definitely put in the time and effort. Eventually, they'll try to understand the deep person you really are. And honestly, for you too, the feeling of being known by someone, it feels just good. That's how relationships are built. And I'm always rooting for your successful dating life. That's for the pile one. Thank you for watching today and see you next time. Bye. Welcome to everyone who chose pile 2. If you're here, you're in the right place. Today, we've got a really fun topic. We are talking about what people in the dating pool think of you, your image, and some real talk advice. You know, how potential dates see you is a little different from how the general public sees you. And it's not just about one person. If you're a woman and you're into guys, it's about how men see you. If you're bi, it's everyone who could potentially date you. The point is, your image in the eyes of those who could actually be your partner. Just apply to your own situation as you listen. Alright, let's start with the first line. Looking at your first impression, the first word that pops into my mind is calm. You look like someone who doesn't talk just for the sake of talking. But when you do speak, you say what needs to be said. You give off this very calm but solid, grounded vibe. Instead of being bubbly or super hyper, you feel like someone who has their own world perfectly built and figured out. People also get a very smart vibe from you, clear and direct. You don't feel fake at all. They see you as a very honest and transparent person. Appearance wise, you might have a bit of cold or icy look. So if you are at a bar, for example, you're the type that makes people hesitate for a second before they approach you. It's like they think, she seems cool once you get close, but the first move, the first conversation, it feels a bit intimidating. Like if they try some cheap flirting, they feel like they're gonna get rejected hard. You know what I mean? But let's see who you actually are. And honestly, it's not that different. You're a very consistent person. What's on the outside matches the inside. You guys know the Myers-Briggs test? In that world, you're definitely more of a thinking type than a feeling type. You have a very clear sense of right and wrong, and you have your own standard. And especially in dating, you have your own calculation. Usually, when we say someone is calculating in a relationship, people take it negatively, but it's not a bad thing at all. It actually means you have a great ability to overlook the whole relationship and see the big picture. And I bet a lot of you absolutely hate vague mind games or push and pulls. If it's a yes, it's a yes. If it's no, it's no. If you're not into me, then don't waste my time. That's you. You're very clear about those boundaries. And once you decide you like someone, you've got this drive to push it through to the end. But you have another side too. See this dancer card? Dancers are amazing at expressing themselves. They are creative and their movements are diverse. Having this card in your oracle means that even though you have this sharp, logical side, you also have flexibility. You're great at adapting to the situation. Even if your natural vibe is rational and bit stiff, your actual way of talking and expressing yourself is surprisingly smooth. Once people get to know you, they see a very warm and bright side, and you're actually great at matching your energy to the other person. Even with the cold vibe first impression we talked about, you're not the type to ruin the mood on a date. You're actually quite good at keeping the conversation natural and comfortable. That is a massive advantage in a dating pool. When someone looks a bit icy but turns out to be so easy and natural to talk to, that plot twist makes people fall for you way hard. But here's the thing you need to think about. Being so good at adapting can have a downside. It can make you look inconsistent because you act differently depending on the person or the situation. People might start wondering which one is the real you. It can leave your dating feeling confused about whether you actually like them. For example, let's say you are on a date and you're not really feeling this guy, but you don't show it. You keep the mood good and the conversation comfortable. You're just being nice, you're just being polite. But the guy walks away thinking, oh my god, that went great. She definitely likes me, right? You're just being nice, but he's getting a false signal. So that's the thing you need to think about. So let's look at their inner thoughts more closely. For those of you who are in the getting to know phase, does it feel like things start well but then end kind of vaguely? Like you just end up as a friends or it just fizzles out? Your dates actually feel a huge attraction to you from the start. People tend to fall for you pretty hard when they first meet you. You're charming, emotionally warm, and very considerate. Like we saw, you lead the vibe so well that they feel very comfortable around you. Most of them walk away from the first meeting thinking like, wow, she's a catch. But like I said earlier, you're just being nice and polite. But they misinterpret that as a signal. So when your real thoughts or your strict standards finally pops out, they get confused. You're someone who won't make a move unless you're 100% sure. So from their side, they're thinking, she was laughing and she was reacting so well on our date. So why is there no next move? Why aren't we progressing? And while you match their vibe, you don't necessarily match their opinions. That's where the tension gets mismatched and the timing gets off. This is where the misunderstanding happens. But do they let you go? No way, because you are charming and you are a catch. They already hooked from the beginning. Even if your score in their head drops a bit, they still think you're worth it. You become the option they don't want to lose. But if this goes the wrong way, you could end up in their fish tank. They'll keep meeting you, keep in touch, but they might just keep you as a dating option instead of a partner. They won't let you go, but they won't fully commit either. It's like they like you, but the certainty button is not being pressed. Most of the people come to see me for tarot because they want certainty from their partner. But I always tell them it's not a gender thing. The other person wants certainty just as much as you do. You need to give them a clear signal of your yes or no. That's my usual advice, and it seems this applies to you. I feel like for pile 2, you guys know your heart very well. You're not the type to be confused about your own feelings. So, while being nice is good, if you know someone is not your style after a few meetings, it's okay to show that. Looking at the device, it connects perfectly. Because you're solid inside, but so smooth on the outside, it can feel a bit unnatural to other person sometimes. Show a bit more of yourself. You're stable, but your tempo is a bit slow. Like I said, the progress is not fast. Taking time is good, but sometimes you just have to step on the gas. If you're too cautious, analyzing every detail, the other person gets tired. The most important card here is the Page of Swords. You want certainty, but so do they. The irony is you're not giving it, yet you're waiting for them to give it to you. It's like you're saying, you come to me first. That's why things are not moving. You are prime partner material, stable, emotionally grounded, but you never get to the next stage. And the Wheel of Fortune and Justice at the end mean the power could shift to the other person. If you just wait around, they will be the one who will make the final call on this relationship, and you might miss your window. So, wrap this up. First, stop the character changes. Don't try to change yourself to match them. You are a great person, just show them the real you. And the second one is speed it up. Being too cautious will make you lose out. Give them faster reaction. Take the lead sometimes. Say things like, I really have a good time with you, or I love talking to you, that kind of thing. I know some of you are like, oh my god, I cannot say that. I can't do the first move. But look, practice makes perfect. And third, don't just keep hanging out forever. I'll say by the third date or fifth date, make a choice. Go or no go. If you just keep hanging out, you will end up in the friend zone or some awkward in between mess. I want to say this. You're logical, you're smart, you have a great judgment. You don't need a long time to know someone. Trust your gut. Usually, your gut is right. So pick a direction and go for it. I'm rooting for your dating life as always. That's it for pile 2. Thank you for watching today and see you in the next one. Bye. Welcome to everyone who chose pile 3. If you're here, you're in the right place. Today's topic is a fun one. What people in the dating pool think of you, your image, and some advice. This is a bit different from your general reputation. It's specifically about what your potential dates are thinking. And it's not just about one person. If you're a woman and straight, it's about how men see you. If you're bi, it's about both. The point is, your image in the eyes of people who could actually date you. Apply it to your own situation and let's get into the first line. In the first line, we are looking at how others see you versus who you actually are. First, your vibe and image. Death and the Eight of Wands. Wow, you guys have a massive presence. Like, even in a room full of people, you have this aura that just grabs everyone's attention. It's not just about being pretty or handsome, it's more like, wait, who is that? People's eye just stop on you. You have a very strong character and a powerful presence. Because of this, potential dates feel attraction and a bit of a guard at the same time. You're attractive, but you look like a handful, like someone they cannot easily lead or control. At the same time, with the Eight of Wands, a lot of you seem very passionate. You're fast pace, fast progress, straightforward, no hesitation. Your energy is just incredibly strong. You probably have great communication skills and know how to talk. You know those people who become friends the second they start talking? That's the vibe. Even if your aura is intimidating, people feel like once the conversation starts, it will go great. You guys probably have a lot of career success here too. But for some, you might feel a bit too direct, like you don't beat around the bush. So that can feel a little heavy or overwhelming to them. Now, let's see who you really are. You have two knights card here. Talk about a plot twist. Of course, you actually have the qualities they perceive. For example, you're the type to approach someone first if you're interested. You're passionate and you love fun, active dates. You're definitely not the type to just sit still. But deep down, you're responsible, realistic, and once you like someone, you're stable and you put in the work to keep the relationship going. People usually assume someone with your speed cannot do a stable relationship, but you are the one who breaks that stereotype. And like I said, there are parts where their perceptions and the real you overlap. But ironically, that's what makes them hesitate rather than jump in. Your inner stability is a huge strength, so it would be great if you showed the side of yourself more. People think you're just this strong, straightforward, explosive type. And while you do value fun and energy, you actually judge a relationship realistically and try to keep them grounded. And see the chiromancer in the oracle? This person is a messenger and a collaborator. Someone who has eyes, someone who is amazing at reading a room. You catch the other person's reaction instantly and adjust to your attitude or the situation. Like I said about the career success, this is a skill successful people have, and you've got it. Being quick-witted and riding the flow of conversation means you catch on fast to what the other person wants or needs to hear. You're definitely not the type to be clueless or only talk by yourself on a date. You catch the vibe, match their pace, and since this card also means a collaboration, you're someone who values walking together rather than just pushing through on your own. But this card has a shadow side. This can look a bit too calculated. This is not just counting numbers, it's more like a strategy. You are so good at catching things that you might start measuring when to talk, when to answer, and how much to show just to stay in advantageous position. So while you feel very sensible and easy to talk to, if your date is as sharp as you are, they might think, who is the real person behind all this? They notice. So if this misunderstanding goes deep, you might end up looking fake. But when I look at your inner self, you guys are very cautious and very genuine. It's just that your natural talent for reading people is actually becoming an obstacle. Use your skills, but make sure they are backed by your real heart and real emotions. Let's look at their inner thoughts while they're getting to know you. I don't usually do reversals, but this is a key keyword, so I'll just skip it. Like I said, misunderstandings can happen. At first, they see a ton of possibility in you, and that includes your realistic conditions like career, your job, something like that, and stability. They are not just looking for a few dates. They start with the idea that this could turn into a real relationship. They want to move slow and steady. But the problem is the page of sword reversed. This keyword is all about distorted information and misunderstandings. So, there are two cases here. First case is they are trying to figure out, but they cannot decode you. It gets tangled and they misunderstand you. For example, they cannot tell if you're actually interested, or they think she seems nice and we are having fun, but I cannot feel her heart. So they just interpret things their own way and it ends in a total misunderstanding. That's when things just fizzles out and you end up as just people who text or whatever. The possible second case is you misunderstand them and cut them off. Why? Because you are in a rush. You tend to judge too quickly, so you cut them off before you even see their real self. Since this is a general reading, think about which one fits your experience more. If the other person is the one misunderstanding you, the problem is that even though you're a great potential partner, you're just unreadable. It's not like you are trying to hide on purpose. You're just being genuine and stable. But your standards are so high. So you're like, I only open my heart to someone who earns it and someone who deserves it. Well, that's true, but because of those skills and your wit I mentioned, you match them so well that they get confused. Or, like I said, you're just too quick to judge and draw a line before seeing the full picture. Either way, this flow usually leads to things just drifting apart rather than a successful ending. Let's look at the advice. You definitely need this. Um, you are a great talker. You match the vibe, you've got a sense. In the dating market, this says this person is probably a pro at dating. But once you are in a relationship, do you actually give your heart away? Like I said, your inner standards are cautious and realistic. You don't just give your heart to anyone. You weigh things, you judge, and if someone doesn't meet your standards, you're great at cutting them off. This line of advice is saying that on the outside, you're very skilled, but Because your actual standards are so strict and you won't open up, the relationship gets blocked. But because you're so good at communicating and expressing yourself, the other person gets a wrong idea. Your dating style is coming up as narrow defensive. This means your allowance zone is tiny and you're trying to avoid all the risk. And that includes everything: emotional risk, physical risk, realistic risk. Let me give you an example to help you understand. Okay, let's say you've gone on several dates. The other person thinks, okay, we are getting closer, we had several dates, she seems to like me. But in your head, you're like, well, you're not my boyfriend yet, and we are not official, so I'm still judging you. I'm not giving my heart away. And you draw that line. Deep down, you're a grounded person. But before they can even get to know that amazing inner self, you've already cut them off. So they're like, wait, what does she actually want? Does she even like me? They have this big question mark. But they cannot give up easily. Why? Because the conversation is so good. You're so good at reading them that even when you try to cut them off, they still stick around. But if you keep acting defensive, eventually they'll be like, okay, I'll give up. So, to wrap everything up, stop judging and stop asking, is this the one, from the very start? Give at least 3 dates or 5 dates before you decide. This is the opposite of my advice for the other pile, but you tend to decide way too fast. It's like you withdraw your heart too quickly. Give it some time, give them a chance. And the second, show your emotions, even if it's not a deep relationship yet. You're great at expressing yourself. Your skills and your wit are a gift, it's natural. But under those expressions, your heart is not 100% there. Do you know what I mean? Try to show a bit more of your real feelings and your real self. And the final one, this is the most important one. Stop trying to avoid the loss in dating, which means right now you're too focused on avoiding risk. It looks like you are more obsessed with filtering out the trash than actually finding a good person. You're so busy avoiding the bad ones and checking if they meet your strict criteria. The other person feels that. When we date, we exchange energies and emotions. And you might not want them feel that way, right? So, I just want to tell you this. Have some courage. I totally get where you're coming from. As we get older, we all want to avoid the risk. And I'm the same way, so I understand that. But if you spend all your energy trying to avoid every single landmine, you cannot move forward. If your standards are that important and non negotiable, just lay them all out on the table from the beginning. The ones who don't fit will leave on their own. But still, I want to say, open your heart a little more and give people a chance. When you open up and give others a chance, great opportunities will come to you too. That's how universe works. Pile 3 got a bit long today. That's it for this pile. Thank you for watching today, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye! Welcome to everyone who chose pile 4. If you're here, you're in the right place. Today, we've got a really fun topic. We're talking about what people in the dating pool think of you, your image, and some real talk advice. You know how potential dates see you is a little different from how the general public see you. And it's not just about one person. If you're a woman, you're into guys, it's about how men see you. If you're a bi, it's everyone who could potentially date you. The point is, your image in the eyes of those who could actually be your partner. Just apply it to your own situation as you listen. All right, let's start with the first line. First, let's look how they see you versus who you actually are. The first impression potential dates get, they think you are a good person, but you look emotionally hard to reach. Like you're smiling, but there's a slight distance. You're easy to talk to, but hard to really get close to. You get the idea? You look calm and like you have a lot on your mind. They definitely found you attractive, but they are stuck overthinking how to approach you. The Three of Swords here doesn't just mean heartbreak or sadness. It's a state where you don't open your heart easily. You've got your guard up naturally, so they are thinking, is she gonna be high maintenance? Opening her heart is gonna be easy. But since the Ace of Pentacles is right next to it, they definitely see you as someone high value. They think she'll be so stable in a relationship. She is so worth it. So instead of people looking for a fling, it's the people who are genuinely interested in you who will try to approach. Now, who are you really? Well, you guys have a lot of pride, a lot of ego. You've got a stubborn streak and you're strong, but you're not the type to brag about it. You're very solid on the inside. Before judging if you're emotional or logical, you're just someone who has a great emotional control. You're cautious with your words, your action. You have a clear standards, and you are not the type to open up or match just anyone. You might seem a bit stiff, but you've got your own rules and criteria, especially since the Queen came out in the Oracle. You have dignity and a strong confidence in yourself. Usually, people like this lead the relationship, but they are also the ones who do the choosing. You are not the one being chosen, you are the one picking. You know your own worth. So even if you date, the upper hand is definitely yours. The other person kind of feels like they're being selected by you. I bet a lot of you have maintained a certain level of quality in your past relationship and probably don't get mixed up with the weird people in the first place. But the shadow side of this queen energy, you might miss out on a lot of good people. Even if you like someone, if they are just a little bit lacking, you tend to stop right there. Your entry speed into a relationship is pretty slow. But what's more important is when you actually like someone, you give everything. The keyword sacrifice comes up here. While some give and take isn't necessary, you are the type to exceptionally give everything to someone you consider yours, regardless of your usual standards. Let's look at their inner thoughts when you're actually dating or getting to know each other. The start is great. The Six of Cups in a dating context is a huge plus. You might actually be dating an old acquaintance or a friend. But even if not, you know those people who just feel strangely familiar the first time you meet them, right? Conversation flows, things are stable, the tension is just right. It's a low pressure, perfect fit. So the start is solid. But it feels like you stay in this getting to know phase for quite a while. The pace is very slow. It's not necessarily bad. The other person is just trying to pace themselves, thinking like, let's be stable, let's watch a bit longer, let's not rush. But there is a subtle point of conflict. They feel like you match well, but they are wondering, can we keep going like this? Because the Three of Wands here could mean a few things. First, a conflict regarding the future direction, wondering if this will actually work long term. The second one is a realistic condition. It could be a long distance. They're really far away, even time zones. Differences in lifestyle or status are also possible. Lastly, they might be worried about whether things will still be okay later on. A thought like this, will I be the one losing more when the emotions get deeper, might cross their mind. Since this is general reading, I feel like the realistic condition case is the most common here. But because they know your values so well, even if it's heavy or hard, they will try their best to adjust and keep this going. They are really trying to cater to you. Remember, you came out as the queen? Well, here you are as the empress. The empress is abundant, great condition, high value, rich emotions. But she has a bit of a selfishness. It's all about her. Everything revolves around her. So, in dating readings, when the Empress pops up, I usually tell people to be a bit more considerate of their partner. Your dates know your worth, so they feel the weight of expectation along with the attraction. Still, most of them are willing to handle it and keep going. Once you get over these obstacles, like 5 months, 10 months, the chance of this turning into a stable relationship is very high. They want to adjust to you and keep this alive. Like we saw in the first line, you're the one holding the power of a choice here. They're seriously trying to coordinate and maintain this with you. I bet you're pretty popular in the dating pool. I'm jealous. Um, okay, even so, for your successful dating life, let's look at the advice. This might end quickly. Um, the cards are so interesting. They overlap with pile 2 a little bit. If you like someone, just show it. Don't just sit there. Create point of contact. If you think they are okay, talk to them first and take action. You came out as the queen and the empress. And these characters, they're basically glued to their seat. They've got way too much pride to even considering making the first move. They just wait to be served. But listen, if there's someone good, you gotta get off your high horse and actually approach them first. You don't have to be super aggressive, just a small signal, an expression of interest, a text or DM, whatever. And when you're talking, don't have this attitude like, let's see how you do, this kind of stance. Instead, send a text like, what are you doing? How are you? I had so much fun today, kind of thing. Don't make it too serious or heavy, just keep it light. And like we saw in the first line, your inner standards are so crystal clear. That includes everything, realistic conditions, how they express emotions. But whatever it is, your standards are so firm that if something feels off, you tend to cut them off very fast. But if you are dissatisfied, don't just cut them off. Just tell them, express it. Don't just think alone and wrap things up by yourself. Also, because you are so meticulous, you might overanalyze every little detail, like every little things. Don't start imagining things. Don't start getting upset. Don't start distancing yourself all by yourself. You might lose a really good person that way. If you have a question or if you don't like something, be honest and ask for a change. That works much better for you. You have a natural talent for taking the lead. So if you say something, they will usually listen. But if you take a high and mighty attitude like, I'm upset, but I'm not gonna tell you why, so you go figure it out yourself. That kind of attitude, they will never know. They'll just be confused. So please express yourself. And for pile 4, this message is so clear. You need to actually meet people. Text, DM, they are just secondary. You need to meet in person. Don't just stay on your phone. Make a plan and meet up. And I'm feeling an energy here. I bet a lot of you are into online dating, or maybe you met on dating apps like Tinder, Hinge. You talk a lot, right? Don't just keep talking. Keep the chat moderate and make a plan to meet. Connect it to reality and meet outside. Getting together in person is much more advantageous for you. And for those starting long distance, like your dating is in abroad, I know it's hard, but make the time. This is something my friends talk about too. When you're dating someone far away, living different country, different time zone, something like that, you have to meet to make progress, right? But since you are not boyfriend, girlfriend, you are not official yet, you feel kind of weird telling them to come to see you, or you feel weird saying you will go there, right? So you just stay in touch vaguely. But don't worry about that. Whether you go or they come, just meet. Create the opportunity connected to a real meeting. However, after that, don't try to force them. Just observe their actions and then judge. The wheel of fortune here is telling you to observe. Once you've made your move, see how they respond. Judge it like justice. So, to wrap everything up, the core advice is that you should open the door first. Looking at your potential dates, there are many relationships with great emotions and possibilities. If you set your mind to it, your dates will easily lead to relationship. Whether it becomes a thing or not is entirely up to your decision. And that decision should be based on their actions and their effort. The last card in the second row was the Three of Pentacles, right? This is about cooperating and building something together. That's why I say this relationship can be successful. Since you are a queen, moving first might feel unfamiliar. But even if you are a person of a great value, nothing happens if you do nothing. Don't just wait for them to move. It would be great if you open the door of the beginning first. As always, I'm rooting for your love life, and that's it for today. Thank you for watching and see you in the next reading. Bye.